Hey everyone, it's Albie. Welcome back to my channel. I have another review for you today. The book I will be discussing is actually sort of a trilogy, and it is The Court of the Vampire Queen by Katee Robert. So this is actually like an older set of books. I think they're maybe possibly 3 years old, and they've just recently been remarketed as like one mega book, but it's actually 3 novellas put together. So I think this was first called the Vampire Bloodline series or something, or I think something along that lines. And the first book is Sacrifice, and then book 2 is Heir, and book 3 is Queen. And those did have some different covers. So you might have actually already read this book slash trilogy before without even knowing it. I'll try to insert the original covers of the novellas in my video somewhere, but this has been like, I think this came out in October or maybe September, so it's really fairly new, and it's Court of Vampire Queen by Katee Robert. So with a Katee Robert novel comes a lot of spice, so I would say that this book is more on the erotica rather than like the plot novel or romance guide. So it's definitely more of a high spice level. I think I gave it a 4 out of 5, although it probably was a 5 for this spice, but overall it was pretty good. So I'll go over some basic things and then I'll go into my review. So we have our main heroine, who is Mina, and she is a half vampire, sort of half human woman and half vampire blood from her father. And it's not really going into a lot of detail, but she's basically forced by her father to be sort of a sex slave for vampires. So it kind of gave me like the Handmaid's Tale vibes, like the novel by Margaret Atwood, where women are like to kind of support the bloodline or whatever and keep the families growing. That sort of seemed to be what the purpose of Mina was basically to be something to be bred, you know, for vampire growth. It seems that the man she was basically assigned to, Malachi, his bloodline is very valuable to this court of vampires, and her purpose is to bear children for that bloodline. So to me, it kind of did give a lot of like a Handmaid's Tale sort of a vibe, specifically if you read the book. I have watched the show. It's just really too graphic for me to watch the television show, The Handmaid's Tale, but I read the book and I really did like the book. So if you're a Handmaid's Tale fan, I think you would enjoy that aspect, or you'd see comparisons between Atwood's canonical, fiction and this romance. So she is assigned to Malachi as, to be bred for future vampires. And along that sort of romance, if you will, she also becomes intertwined with 2 other vampire males, and the other one is Wolf and Rylan. Wolf is kind of a carefree, more easygoing of the 3 men, sort of like the Goldilocks sort of thing. So we have our Goldilocks, Mina, and then we have our sort of our main hero, which is Malachi, and then we have sort of the young, spunky, energetic male, who is Wolf. And then Ryland is described as being a little bit older. He has like graying in his temples. He always wears a suit. So you have that sort of zaddy, archetype placed in. So you have your possessive hero, you have your playful, sex god, if you will, and you have your zaddy kink going on. And so I would say the first book focused mainly on the sexual relation between Mina and the 3 men. It is focused mainly on Malachi, and then Wolf joins in, and there are some scenes of MM play as well as threesome and group stuff. And it ends with a group scene which sort of unlocks the mystery about Mina. I don't want to give too many spoils, but apparently her power within her body is unleashed when she is intertwined with her 3 beaux at once. So there you go for that. Definitely the spice level is high, like I said. And there are some tropes. This is a vampire romance. Of course, I do have notes down here, so sorry if I'm looking down. It's vampire romance. It has a reverse harem. It's MM/female, and then, you know, group play. So one woman, many men, that's sort of reverse harem. It's a dark romance. It has breeding, kink, I guess you'd say. But overall, the story was good. I did give it a 4 out of 5 stars. Weirdly enough, I think book 1 was my favorite, although it didn't have a lot of plot, so to speak. I do prefer when spicier or erotic books have more plot, but, you know, there's some people out there where they're just looking for the spice and not so much the plot. I think if you're a person that just wants, you know, sex on page, you're really gonna love this series. I thought it was good. Like I said, I didn't enjoy it as much as I enjoyed the Deal with the Demon series. So like the Dragon's Bride. I haven't read the Kraken Sacrifice. I do own it, but I haven't gotten to it yet. But I've liked that series, and I've also liked the Dark Olympus series, as well as I read one of the Wicked Villains, and I did like it enough that I want to read more of that series as well. But this one is leaning more into erotica with sex overtaking plot, not as a criticism, but just sort of as a, that's how I felt. So if you want more spice than plot, I think you'll like it. In book 2, I'd say it was more balanced between the spice and the plot. And then in book 3, Queen, it was like the majority of the plot with not as much spice at all. And it was just kind of jarring as a reader to have heavy spice to mid-level to not as much. I think I would have preferred if it was a little more balanced in each book. Now, to say all 3 of the books are around 160 pages, which if you're doing heavy spice, it is, you know, taking a lot of the time out of the time limit or the page limit for the plot. So I do understand that. But it was just kind of interesting that instead of having a little more balance between plot and spice, I felt that it was heavier in the beginning with the spice, and it got slower as the trilogy ended, and the plot picked up more so at the end, which I would like more 50-50. But, you know, I still enjoyed it. I still love Katee Robert. She's one of sort of my auto-buy authors, if I'm honest. I mean, she writes so frequently that it's kind of like, oh no, I'm going to lose a lot of money this month because I have to buy like 2 books. Like for October, I had to buy this. Well, I didn't have to, but you know, I bought this, which is about 14, and then I bought the Kraken, so that was another 10. And I want to say she has something coming out really soon, so I'm like gearing up for the next purchases. But I liked it. You know, like I said, I am a person that does prefer more plot than spice, but you know, I'm not gonna be mad at it. And I know other people, they want more of the spice in the plot. I said that like 100 times, so you know what I mean. But some of the content warnings I will say are dark romance, potential murder, evil father, so to speak, kind of sex slavery. I know I don't want to get flagged, but I mean, that's sort of what Handmaid's Tale is, and that kind of gave me this vibe. There's also breeding and pregnancy, which can be a trigger for some people. And in the beginning of the book, I don't want to be like flagged for copyright, but it has on the like kind of the opening page, like the content warnings, and she calls it a dark and incredibly spicy book, dubious consent, blood play, patricide, pregnancy, blood, gore, murder, explicit sex, vomiting, discussions of abortion, abusive parent, sexual assault, non-graphic, and attempted drugging. So, you know, that's what she has as her content warnings, which are in the book, and you can find those. I think you don't have to buy the book to read the content warnings. So I just want to go over that because it is a dark romance. So, you know, reader, be wise or be ready if you need to know those. Like I said, it was a good book. I would have liked more plot or had it balanced out, but overall I liked it. And before I wrap it up, Azazel is a character in this book And I remember that name from the Deal with the Demon series. And I was like, I wonder if that's the same Azazel, because I know she has Hades in the Wicked Villains, Learn My Lesson, book 2. And then she has Hades in Neon Gods. And they're like related, she said, but they're not the same Hades. But the Azazel in this book is the same, the same Azazel, which is in the Deal with the Demon books. And she actually did like a diagram, and I'll put that in the video if I can find it. And Grace, who is a secondary character in this book, I believe she's pointing that Grace is going to have her own book. And I think Grace is going to be the third book of Deal with the Demon, which is, I believe, the Gargoyles Captive. I think that's Grace's book. That's sort of what the diagram alluded to. I could have misread it, but I'll put a picture of it. It's a beautiful cover. I love her covers for the Deal with the Demon series. They're gorgeous. But yeah, so I did think it was cool that the worlds are connecting to a bigger thing within series. So that was fun. And yeah, if you want a vampire book that's heavily spiced with MM as well as MM female stuff, I think you're really gonna enjoy this spooky, sexy vampire erotic thriller. So if you're looking for a good spicy vampire read, I would definitely pick up The Court of the Vampirequeen. Yeah, and I hope you'll have a wonderful day. Don't forget to like, subscribe, as well as comment. Also share my videos. That'd be awesome. I'm at 97 subscribers. I would love to hit 100 by the end of the year. That'd be awesome. So I hope you'll have a wonderful day, and I will see y'all soon. Bye, everyone.